Hello everyone. My name is Marphoria. I will be running Resident Evil 7 New Game Easy. This is a really cool run. I'm very excited to show it for you all. It's kind of interesting because Resident Evil Village literally just came out on Friday, and this is the game that occurs right before Resident Evil Village. So if you have not seen, if you have not seen, wait, go to runner A. Are we good? Anyways. Are we good? We good?
We're good. Sorry about that. We're good. But blame it on the host. It's all my fault.
Everyone, my name is Marphoria. I will be running Resident Evil 7 New Game Easy here on the PC. Now, this is interesting because the newest Resident Evil title, Resident Evil Village, literally just came out on Friday, and this is such if you have not seen Resident Evil 7 and you're interested in playing Village, this is a great little recap just in case you're interested in playing Village. It's such a great game, but this is also a really cool game, really cool run as well. And like I said, we will be running on the New Game Easy difficulty. Essentially, what we do is we start with the vanilla items with the game. We'll be using the handgun, shotgun, and knife, and we'll be picking up ammo along the routes. In 3, 2, 1, and go. And we're off! Yay! Now, something unique about Resident Evil 7, some of you guys may know, it is very cutscene heavy. So right here we meet Mia Winters. She is, I was gonna say, so we get a lovely 2.5-minute cutscene to be introduced to her. We're kind of watching her, you know, we're watching her on a laptop. So, you know, kind of getting a little reminder here on, you know, who's this lady? Who is she? Now, Greenleaf, you said you've never played a Resident Evil game, or you're kind of new to the series, essentially?
I know a little bit here and there, but I have never played one myself.
Would you ever be interested in playing a first-person Resident Evil game?
I will say right now, me and first-person games in general do not get along very well, but I might be able to be convinced.
There you go. Yeah, I did mention, yes, this is a first-person Resident Evil. You know, kind of make it quite immersive. So we're still in our cutscene. Like I said, this is a 2.5-minute cutscene. The cutscenes in this run may seem kind of like a drag, but you know, we get bathroom breaks, snack breaks, water breaks. So it's actually a nice, cozy run if you're into that kind of thing.
I mean, nice and cozy, comfortable with a warm blanket and a bucket of popcorn. Can't go wrong.
I legit have a blanket. This is my Sonic the Hedgehog blanket that I always keep on me when I'm streaming. So, you know, Resident Evil 7 or not, we definitely got a blanket.
I've got a Zelda one. You can't see it, though, because I'm just the host.
Is it like a fleece blanket? Something like that?
It
or what?
is.
The microfiber?
Like, yeah, those super soft ones, yeah.
Yeah. We love those ones. Anyways, we finally take control of Ethan. This is Ethan Winters. He is the husband of Mia Winters. As you can tell, we can't see his face or anything like that because, like I said, first-person game, what can you do? So, this part here, we're running through the woods. There's not too much technically going on here, but you know, still a pretty decently optimizable section because you want to make sure that you take good lines here. You can easily get caught up on invisible hitboxes, things of that nature. And we just saw a very mysterious figure walk by. Who that is, you'll get to see here a little bit later. and we are actually making our way towards the guest house. So this part here essentially just kind of sets up the whole, kind of just sets up the stage for the story and the entire run, of course. Now, I was going to say, I'll talk about a little bit about the version that we're running on, but as soon as we get into guest house here, we'll actually be doing a retry. So as soon as we walk by these boards, we'll see an autosave pop up, and then we'll do a retry. So retries essentially reset Ethan's movement speed. There's a few retries that we do here on PC. We do 2 in the guest house, a few little, actually no, we do 3 in the guest house now. There was one that we actually finally started using up in the attic right before the Mia 2 boss fight. But yeah, retries essentially reset Ethan's movement speed, and they also kind of sometimes teleport him to certain points. It essentially just, you know, makes things faster because, you know, we're trying to go fast. Now, you may have seen me, you know, swap to my options there and do an FPS swap. So at various points here in the run, we'll be doing FPS swaps, essentially swapping to 30 FPS, essentially, you know, makes the game a little bit slower, but it also affects hitboxes in a way where we can squeeze through tight spaces really quickly. So we sometimes, well, we do it here on crawl spaces, we do it to get by enemies, things of that nature. So, you know, just little strats that add up. Now, as you can tell, we're crawling through a really murky and wet space here. I wouldn't enjoy doing this, but okay. Now we're actually skip. Traditionally, we have a dead body pop up here, but as long as you put your camera here to the right, as soon as you hear the bubbles, you can turn your camera back, and you get to skip that body. So saves about 6 seconds. And yeah, definitely don't want to see that guy. Mia. If anyone has played any recent Resident Evil titles, actually from this game onward, so Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, even Village, you may notice these bolt cutters look very familiar. It's kind of Capcom's notorious reused asset. So it started here in 7. Don't fret. So it's just a funny meme that kind of goes on.
Well, if they started in 7, they're not reused, so they're new in this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they started here, they originated here in 7, and then pretty much every single RE game going forward, you see them there. Now, we found our wife. You'd think we'd be good to go home, but no, she wants to kind of bring us here through this basement. She's gonna give us a nice tour of this basement and maybe fill us in on what's going on, who knows. But this is actually a great time to talk about very crucial in this particular speed run. The very first thing you saw me do was delete the email to Mia and move my cursor over to the bolt cutters, because what makes this unique is that the cursor will stay exactly where you left it. So in most Resident Evil titles, in your inventory, the cursor will reset to the top left corner. But in this game, the menu operates in real time as opposed to, you know, going to a separate screen, pausing your game, something like that. So, you know, it's really cool because, you know, we can move our cursor, the cursor will stay exactly there. So we set it up on particular items because it gets us ready for the next interaction. You know, once we break free and get through a couple things, we'll interact with the cabinet to open it up, and we don't have to think twice. So it's pretty neat. I personally think it's the best inventory in the Resident Evil series. They unfortunately did not bring this type of menu back into Resident Evil Village, which is, you know, the most recent title, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, it's okay. We have it in this game at least. Yeah, so also just a quick note, in various points in the run, you know, I'll be moving my cursor, I will be moving items, deleting items, things of that nature. So, you know, it's a very, very important optimization piece in this run. So that's quite cool. That's one reason I do enjoy this speedrun. Whew. We're finally done with our auto scroller here. This is can quite be a little painful of a part with the beginning of this run here, but it's okay. This part doesn't last too long. And if you're wondering what we're doing here, so we're standing at a particular part here at this pillar. Normally you would kind of explore around the room and things like that, but the particular trigger here to get Mia to bust out of the wall is just right here at this pillar. So yeah, you don't need to walk around and talk to her. You don't have to go around the pillar to explore things. You can literally just stand there at that pillar and you'll be good to go. Again, the game kind of wants you to explore here, but you can go into this bathroom, step in there for just a little bit, and trigger this next part. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mia, what happened? What's wrong, Mia? Now, as you can tell, there's something incredibly wrong with Mia. Oh no. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, so something incredibly wrong with her. Goodness. Now, if anyone here has played Village, you may notice how, like, a lot of stuff happens to Ethan's hands, so it essentially starts here. Hang on a second, let's see. Alright, cool. You should be boosted in Discord now. Good stuff. Alrighty. I guess knocked out her to stand up at the earliest possible frame. So we move forward a little bit, angle our camera at a particular spot, and we should, yep, there we go. Get her to stand up immediately. Good stuff. Next up, we have the Mia 1 boss fight right here. Oh goodness. Oh goodness, where she's got a knife. So, there we go. Easy peasy. Now, you may wonder how we're able to do that boss fight this quickly. So, with our axe here, the axe damage is tied to frame rate. So the higher your frame rate, the more damage your axe does. So if we do heavy hits on her and we kind of clip into her, we're actually doing tons and tons and tons of damage. So very, very cool, very unique here. Unfortunately, the axe is the only weapon where the damage is tied to frame rate, so, we'll be using the axe for this fight, axe for the next fight, and then after that, we're kind of relying on our guns. So we'll be picking that up to proceed forward, and then we're actually coming upon our second retry. Interesting about the retries as well, you want to be sure that you retry at the earliest possible moment, because that helps with your time save for sure. And remember when I talked about menuing? This is why. So you barely see us interact with our inventory here. So, oh, come on, thank you. So it's another interesting aspect to this game, and also good aspect in Village and other RE games. Oops, excuse me. We do these things called max distance interactions, where we stand back as far as we can while still trying to interact with items. So you'll see me at various points in the run standing kind of far away. Also, oh god. Now, one other note, we are running on the Japanese censored version, aka Sero D. And this is the part where we see some censorship here. So Japan doesn't like decapitation, so we will be seeing some censored parts here. Saves about 23 seconds throughout the course of the run. This part doesn't save time though. We just see a blacked out screen. And we keep our hand, surprisingly. Ethan, always having stuff with his hands though. Just Ethan's always getting tortured. Oh no. Alrighty, so we're about in the home stretch here in Guest House. Since we powered up the stairs over here, we are gonna come upon our second boss fight. And again, like I said, axe damage is tied, the frame rate is tied to the axe damage here. Give me a second, we got another retry coming up here. So the ideal strat here is to kill Mia in one hit. So we'll be setting up in a very particular way, angling our camera in a specific way. So a little bit of focus time here. Let's see. Oh no, 2 hits. That's okay. That's okay. Still quite fast. Not the ideal, but you know, we still got it. Now this part here is kind of on a timer, so you know, we just kind of run around until the next scene spawns here, but we do want to make sure that our back isn't up against any walls or anything like that. So can't remember how much time has to pass. I think it's about 20 or 30 seconds, something like that. And we just got Falcon punched by that mysterious man again. Oh no. All right. Good stuff. Now, if you have any donations or any blurbs to read, this is actually a perfect time for that.
I do have some. I have plenty of blurbs. They gave me plenty of that, but I do want to point out that during the Chocobo Racing run earlier, Groggy Dog did say that he was going to donate, and we did get that $29 donation from Groggy Dog with the correct comment of "quack." And speaking of those donations, I did mention as we started, but go ahead and get those donations in, because your guys are going to tell us who we saved, whether it's Mia, which is the one we normally do in the speed run, which saves about 3 minutes of time, or versus saving Zoe. So who do you want to save? Go ahead, get your donations in for that. Also, we are $22 away from the bonus Resident Evil 7 run, so get money in if you want to see more Resident Evil 7. I know I do.
Yeah, that bonus run is actually the Not a Hero DLC. It basically just kind of continues the story of Resident Evil 7. You'll see Chris Redfield pop up at the end of the game. Spoilers! we have a regular Resident Evil character popping up. But yeah, it essentially just follows his story at the end of the game. So if you want to see Mr. Boulder Punching Man, feel free to get those donations in.
And there's one other bonus thing you can do if you donate for that bonus Resident Evil 7 run. More marphoria.
Not just that, your donations are going to No Kid Hungry. It's a good cause. Now, you may wonder, who is this crazy demented family? This is the Baker family. The woman who was just screaming, her name is Marguerite. She's the matriarch of the family, and she's quite upset that Ethan is not eating the delicious dinner that she prepared. So is Jack. So, ooh. Ow. Now, you can tell that, you know, when Capcom made this game, you can tell that they had VR in mind, because Resident Evil 7 was also made in VR for PS4. Unfortunately, this didn't come to Steam. We couldn't play it on Steam VR. That's what I was waiting for. I was holding off, just mainly because, you know, I wanted to play like Beat Saber and various other games on Steam. But yeah, Resident Evil 7 never came to Steam for VR, but it is on PS4, and I believe you can play it on PS5 as well. I think there's a VR for PS5. So if you want this immersive Resident Evil experience, feel free to play it then. Alrighty, so we're setting up for Jack Hallway. Jack did disappear for a little bit, but he appears again. So, give me a second here. Oh, well. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. What we want to do is grab... Oh, he's doing good. So I was going to say, we want to grab that hatch key, use it on this door because we are triggering some next parts here. That's not good. I should have blocked that. We're going to say, if you do some of these sequences fast enough, you can get hallway skip where Jack preemptively busts out that wall. Saves about 3 seconds. We can get to the hatch a little bit quicker, and it serves as like a little shortcut for later. So, yeah. We're essentially escaping his grasp and trying to get to the next part as soon as possible. If you do that part a little bit slower, or if Jack is at a certain point in the hallway, he will teleport to you behind that, behind you in that room, and he'll chop your leg off. So we definitely don't want that. It loses a ton of time. So thankfully, he did not chop off our leg. Alright.
Yeah, at that point we'd be moving at about half speed, I assume.
Oh no, funny enough, we reattach our leg.
Wow!
We do. So, but yeah, the first aid in this game, because, there's first aid sprays and medicine in every single Resident Evil game. It's usually like a spray or, there's herbs and all that stuff. But the first aid spray in this game is actually, it's like a bottle of healing juice. So Jack will give you a bottle of that healing juice, and you pour it on your leg, and your leg reattaches. Kind of silly. But since this is the censored version, he doesn't lose his leg, but you still have to use that healing juice on his leg because, or else you'll bleed out. So, ideal thing is no leg chop. Now we made our deputy. Can't remember his last name, but he appears here at the house. No backup, surprisingly. So he's kind of communicating with Ethan. We've heard there's some missing people here, and as he's talking to Ethan, he's just like, what's wrong with you? Something like that. But like I said earlier, when we were doing the hallway sequence, we grabbed that key, touched that, tried to use it on the aux door, and then we went into that kitchen to touch a pillar, and that was able to trigger this cutscene right here, because normally you have to go to the door and see that happen and things like that. So, yeah, it was just a way to trigger this part a little bit quicker. So Ethan here was asking the officer for a gun. He thinks about it for a second, but we get a pocket knife instead. Be one of the weapons that we use. Not for a ton of stuff, but it is important for at least breaking open boxes, and that's the main thing we use with it is breaking open boxes. We use it in this boss fight a little bit, but not too much. It's just, to do a little bit of damage to Jack here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Jack appears out of nowhere. All right. We don't see the deputy get his head sliced in half, though. Again, because of Sarah D. So we pick up our G17 handgun. That's going to be one of our main weapons of the game. And we're going to do something a little bit tricky here. So essentially, we stood next to the car door to get Jack to go in there as soon as possible. Do a few slashes to him, and that's Jack 1. Now, you may see that I waited a little bit before I shot him. That's because Jack has iframes there. You can't really shoot him until he starts driving the car. And iframes will be kind of like a reoccurring thing here in this run. Pretty much every enemy and all the bosses have iframes, so we have to make sure we wait until certain animations resolve, or we have to wait like a certain amount of time before we can do damage to those enemies. So we see those first instances of iframes here at Jack here, because if not, if you kind of mistime your shots or anything like that, he will just try and run you over. All right. Cool story, Jack. Yeah, so now proceeding forward, we're going to start picking up some ammo, mainly to set up for some of our boss fights here. Like I said, one of the weapons that we'll be using is the shotgun. It's actually a very powerful shotgun. There are 2 of them in this game, and we... Bounds? You guys like glitches, things of that nature? Because we're actually going to start setting up for that. Alrighty. So we're going to do something very specific right here. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. We're essentially going to have to solve some puzzles as soon as, like, as quickly as we can, while mitigating Jack's locations here. So, let's see. Thank you. So we're gonna keep him up in the bathroom for just a little bit here. I'm gonna fire a few shots on the floor because shooting on the floor kind of aggroes Jack, and then shooting a second time will de-aggro him. So, like I said, we're trying to mitigate his locations here. Alright, he's dropped down where he's supposed to, which is good. Now we're gonna get him to pursue us. If he's too far back, he'll bust through that wall here, and since we didn't do hallway skip before, and we don't want that. So we're going to keep him in the hallway for just a little bit here, because if he's anywhere close in that hallway, we won't be able to do this shadow puzzle right here. So, there we go. Cool stuff. Every Resident Evil game needs some puzzles, and the main ones in this game are shadow puzzles, so nothing too out there, too crazy. And what he's going to do, we're going to try and set him up to get him to throw us out of bounds. So to squeeze by him, we're going to do that little 30 FPS swap that I mentioned earlier. And we're going to set up in a very specific spot right here on these pillars. And... I know most people are surprised that there's an out of bounds in this game. They're just like, wow, I've never seen this before. But yeah, this is there are quite a few out of bounds in this game, but this is the only one that we use here. We could stay on variable frame rate here to drop back in, but 60 FPS here can make it a little more consistent, things of that nature. So the main reason we drop down in here is to pick up that red key card. That way it saves us little extra time. Oh goodness, sorry. That guy wasn't supposed to do that. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, this part is very involved here. I missed a couple shots on that molded, so that was a little silly. But yeah, we had to pick up a few items and also craft some enhanced ammo to prepare for this boss fight here. It's a lot of actions going on there. All right, cool. Sweet. We want to make sure to only have 10 handgun rounds here, because if not, it'll create some extra spots in our inventory there. And we will start, we'll get prepared here for the Jack 2 boss fight. So I'm going to stay a little quiet here for some focus time, and I'll explain the strat a little bit later here. Alrighty. Like I said, operates in real time, sets us up for later. Jack, thank you. Cool. All right. So essentially what we were doing there is trying to skip Jack's death animation. So we were doing some very particular shots there. One with our enhanced ammo, and two with the chainsaw. You know, chainsaw is what we want to use for that particular fight. So we had to do some very particular swings there to do max amount of damage to Jack there. Let me double check that I picked up those shotgun shells, and I did. Okay, cool. Last thing you want to do is miss a shotgun shell pickup, because it'll mess up the rest of your strats there. But yeah, the cool thing is with that last boss fight we just did is we were able to skip Jack's death animation. And earlier when I mentioned the Japanese censored version, Seru D, that fight there saves 10 seconds with the censored version. Because normally when you kill Jack there, he'll kind of, his whole growth will explode, he'll stand up, you know, his torso will be blown off, his legs will be walking around. Falls and you're able to leave immediately. Still don't want to play this game, Greenleaf?
I mean, just based on what you're saying, we're not seeing, because this is the Japanese censored version, part of me needs to play the non-censored version just for the ridiculousness of what you're describing.
Yeah, you mainly see like a bunch of chopped off limbs. You know, in the speedrun, we don't really look at like some of the stuff, like, you know, we don't look at that Jack 1 boss fight, Jack 2 boss fight rather. It's pretty cool. Alrighty, so we are picking up our broken shotgun and some more shotgun shells, because like I said, the broken shotgun will be the main weapon of this speedrun here. So yeah, currently broken, but we're gonna fix it. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. I think I forgot to menu to my dog heads here. Let me see. Gonna double check on that. Let's see. Oh, I didn't. For some reason, I thought I did. Yeah, you saw me rearrange that shotgun there, because yeah, like I said, literally during any downtime, so when doors are opening, when boss fights are, like, you know, if there's downtime in any boss fights, things of that nature, we will be, you know, rearranging items if we can. Alright. There we go. Now we have a shotgun. Like I said, it only fires 2 rounds, but it's okay. It's okay, because it's very strong. Now, one thing I didn't explain, we've been answering a few phone calls here, talking to a mystery lady. This is Zoe, and if you guys are thinking about that bid war that we have going on, this Marguerite, there was Lucas as well. So Zoe wasn't present at the dinner table because, you know, she's staying away from her family. Her family's crazy and stuff like that. But, you know, we didn't see that. You might have seen it here in the beginning cutscene there, but Zoe actually staples Ethan's hand back on. So she's taking care of him and stuff because, you know, she wants to help him. Like, they basically want to help each other here. So she's giving him some advice to find a serum and kind of apprehend her family so they can escape. So, like I said, if you wanna save Zoe instead of Mia, feel free to get those donations in. Now we're heading over to the old house. Zoe was explaining on the phone that we have to go over here, and we're also trying to avoid her mom. So you may see that there's a lot of bugs around here. Why? We'll find out here in a little bit. We picked up a stone statuette for a puzzle that we're gonna do here in a little bit. As you can see, someone's talking over there, and that's actually Mia. You don't have to talk to Mia. You can literally just turn around and leave, and Marguerite comes. Marguerite's in the picture now, and she spawns bugs. So that is why we have bugs all up in this house, because she controls them. Thankfully, you know, she'll kind of patrol the old house here a little bit, but you know, if we just speed right by her, we won't have to deal with her too much. What are your thoughts on that, Greenleaf?
Bugs don't bother me, but I do have a better thought. We did have a donation come in.
Ooh!
We're getting bonus Resident Evil 7.
Oh, nice. GG's, everyone.
Yeah, so we did hit the bonus run of Resident Evil 7, so we'll be absolutely getting more of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I think you guys will enjoy that run. Looks a little different from this game, just a little bit, but that's okay. It's still a very, very fun run to do. It's only about 20 minutes or so. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for getting those donations in for that.
But we still have the bid war to who we're going to save. I personally am full on 100% in the save Zoe camp here. Chat's been saying save Mia. I'm saying save Zoe. Donate for which one of us is right.
Chat probably wants to save Mia mainly because they know it's a little bit faster. What's interesting, yeah, most people want to see Zoe get saved. So you guys are interesting. You guys are doing great. As you may have seen, Marguerite was patrolling there, but the easy difficulty. She can't really see us too much. So as long as you don't brush up against her, then she'll avoid you. Or she mainly, well, what happens if you brush up against her? She'll spawn a bunch of bugs, and then they just it spawns as like a swarm. They'll start to attack you. It's not very nice. Not nice at all. So as long as we take like a specific line and don't brush up against her, she won't spawn those bugs. So spoilers, we got a jump scare coming up. Oh. That totally scared me the first time I played this game. I literally jumped back in my chair. I don't know about you guys, but one moment, please. Kind of like a, well, that's technically the Marge 1 boss fight. I kind of consider it like a mini boss, mainly because she goes down rather quickly. We just do 2 shotgun shells to her and 1 G17 bullet there, so she goes down fairly quick there. Sometimes you can hit her with 2 shotgun shells there, but you know, most of the time it's 2 shotgun shells and 1 handgun bullet. GG easy. Interesting thing about this phone call here, this will actually be the very last phone call that we answer in the entire game. What's kind of interesting is that, you know, we'll hear the phone, like, you know, you saw the phone ring a couple times, we didn't answer it, but this game is very trigger heavy, so we have to, you know, do specific things, you know, do specific interactions, certain puzzles, answer certain phone calls, or else the next area will not load. So thankfully that phone call is the last one we have to do. And speaking of other neat tricks, we're going to set up for a lantern skip here. So it's just a little sequence break where we get to, you know, save a few seconds here. We want to set up at a very particular point here. And there we go. Executed lantern skip. What that essentially does is skip Marge's lantern grab animation. You normally have to, you know, go up the stairs. You'll see that there's some scales with a lantern on it, so you need to look at a particular spot in the ceiling. It's essentially looking in the direction of those scales, and then we kind of set Ethan up to drop into that pit, you know, to spawn her lantern grabbing animation. So that's kind of neat there. So we're coming upon the Marge 2 boss fight. It's actually one of the harder boss fights in this game, so I am gonna stay quiet for some focus time. There we go. That's all she wrote. Whew. Sorry, that boss fight gets my heart pumping a lot. Now, with that boss fight there, you saw that we did like quite a bit of damage to her in the window, but all of those other shots here in this All of those shots that we did are very, very specific. You want to stand, you basically want to stand at very particular parts, angle your camera in specific ways, because you can actually manipulate her movement depending on how close or far you are to her. So not just that, we had to make sure we did as much damage to her as possible with our shotgun and then finish her off with those enhanced bullets there. So, you know, to do it there in one cycle, quite tricky, but, you know, we did it. No problem. We actually have some enhanced ammo here left over, and, you know, normally this is like gold. We love our enhanced ammo. It does so much damage here. But for menuing purposes, because we're going to craft more enhanced ammo later, we empty it there. We get rid of it. So don't be too sad, folks. These were those scales I was talking about to get that lantern. Since we didn't see them earlier, we're seeing them for the first time now. No worries. Oof. I don't know about you folks, but I don't like the dark. So this part, very, very scary during your first playthrough. It's dark. It's moldy. There's things falling. There's noises happening. I don't know about, yeah. This is particularly terrifying, so. Let's try and get through this.
I have mold allergies. That's the scariest part to me, is all the mold.
Oh no, yeah. Oh goodness, this is not good for mold allergies, folks.
Nope,
not
I'm getting
at
clogged
all.
up just watching it.
No, it's just visual. In the game, it's virtual. It's not real. No, it's okay.
That's in my nose.
Oh no. Nah, it's okay, because anytime I see or think about swarms of bugs, surprisingly enough, not in this game, but just in general, it's my skin starts crawling and it's not pleasant at all. Ow, that wasn't nice. Yeah, you saw me do another FPS swap there. Do that to squeeze by that guy. I think I was a little slow going through there, because normally if you do it quick enough, he won't do any damage to you. I'm gonna take that turn a little bit wide just so that guy doesn't tag us. But yeah, good. We got out with I was gonna say we got out without a scratch, but we got a tiny scratch. It's we'll be okay. Yeah, so I can fill you in on why those phones are ringing. Actually, wait, before we do that, we're actually going to come upon another skip called the trailer skip. And this is one of the skips that was found early on in the game. Essentially, normally you're supposed to go into the trailer and answer the phone, and we have Lucas in there trying to, you know, kind of tease us and all that stuff. But all you have to do is touch this corner, and it'll trigger the autosave and the phone to ring, and you actually don't have to answer that phone call. Essentially what that does is just load in the next area of the basement here, you know, for the other stuff there. You know, it gets darker and it gets moldier, and you know, it essentially is the next sequence in this game. So you don't have to go in that trailer to answer the phone call. Just literally touching that edge of the trailer will make all of this happen. Alrighty, so we're actually going to craft some handgun ammo right up here, and we want to load it into our gun immediately because it empties out our inventory. So, rather, it gives us an extra space in our inventory because we'll have to fill it up with two things. Also, remember those 30 FPS swaps I was talking about? This is actually a pretty neat trick here, where we had a crawler bust out of the wall, but when you do that FPS swap, you just phase right through him. So, again, GG easy. And that snake key we just picked up, it's actually the biggest time save of this whole run, because normally in the uncensored version, the deputy is there, you have to, you know, the snake key is technically supposed to be in the deputy's throat. Ethan has to stick his hand in there, and it's totally gross. Not just that, it's about like I think it's like 13 minutes, sorry, not 13 minutes, sorry, that is absurd. It's like a 13-second cutscene. It's between like 13 and 18 seconds. But yeah, on the censored version, the key is not inside the deputy. It is actually just on the gurney right there. So all you have to do is just pick it up off that table and go on your merry way. No cutscenes or anything in general.
So, quick update on the who we're saving bid war. We had a $5 donation come in from Armos Dragon saying, "For Mia, you don't want Rose to be motherless, do you?"
Oh.
Followed up by a $10 donation from Fleckin66 that just says, "Save Zoe."
Oh, Fleckin. Thank you folks for those donations. Yeah, I was gonna say Fleckin is very familiar with my stream there, and you know he's seen Mia get saved tons of times, so I'm not surprised he wants to see Zoe. Alrighty, so trickiest puzzle in the game right here, mainly because that little axe handle right there has to essentially be lined up and perfect with that. All the other shadow puzzles are quite lenient, but that one there is certainly the pickiest, so trying to do that fast is a little fun. Tiny bit fun. In that room across over there, but we didn't go down into the basement. The reason we didn't go into the basement for the third time is because we already picked up that red key card. So, but, you know, like I mentioned earlier, RE7 is very trigger heavy, so we have to still do certain sequences or else the game will soft lock. So we also have to do that clock puzzle that I just did, and you also can't insert that red key card in early. You have to insert it right now, because if you don't do any of those things that I just mentioned, this TV will not turn on. So, very important. Don't soft lock your games, folks. Huh. And now we have Lucas Baker back again, telling if you have any additional donations or any blurbs, this is a perfect time.
Let's go back to one of the donations that put us over the top to get to the bonus incentive. It was from Plasty USK with a $20 donation. Says, "Love Resident Evil speedruns and the speedrunning community. Working in public health nutrition, hunger is an epidemic that I work towards eradicating. Thank you for the great cause." We had a $10 anonymous donation, and also we had a $50 donation with no comment from Ralph Valier. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much for those donations. If you're sensitive to body horror or anything like that, feel free to look away, because Lucas is going to pull off his nails. I usually look away during this part, but during marathon runs, you know, I want to showcase the whole game, so I'll keep it here. But if you ever stop by my stream, we usually don't look at that. I usually angle my camera up. Game will pull you back to the TV, so you literally have to hold your mouse up there during the whole time. So, but it's okay. No more nails getting pulled out. And just a quick little recap here. Lucas is this, you know, the baker's son. He's a very demented individual. He's kind of like a wannabe Jigsaw. He, you know, loves setting up puzzles that, you know, make people very upset. that's a good term for it. So here in this barn, he has a bunch of traps set up and some weird creepy puzzles. But before that, oof. Why Ethan was sitting so close to the TV and also not getting affected by that TV explosion, I have no idea. Alright, a little bit of focus time for these wire traps. Nice. Nice. No potato aim here today, folks. And that crate right there is RNG. It will either have handgun ammo, shotgun shells, or first aid. We do not want to pick up the handgun ammo because, like I said, menuing, stuff like that. But if we pick up shotgun shells, that's never a bad thing. You know, it just adds to our current load of shotgun shells. And the first aid we... Should we enter in the code? We know the answer. We should probably enter it. No, we're not gonna enter it. Give me a second. A little bit more menuing here. We want to put these items in a very specific order. But yeah, like I turn that password 1408, and if you enter in that password right then and there, the password will actually change. So to save time, do not put in that password early, folks. You want to put it in when we're supposed to, which is, you know, we're gonna put that in a little bit later. That is such a stubborn wire trap. I hate it. Oop, we don't want that. We're meeting some more moldy friends though, but thankfully we can just run right by them. NBD, no big deal. Now, this is actually a great time to talk about quick falls. So we've already done a few of these already, but when Ethan goes down, like when he falls down from any ledge, he kind of does like a little hop animation before he jumps off a ledge. But if you walk around it, falling in, and that doesn't seem like that doesn't seem super significant or anything like that, but it saves about 0.25 seconds, and you know, throughout the course of the run, if you do all these quick falls, that adds up to seconds, you know, so pretty interesting. All right, so 2, 3, 4, and then nice. Alrighty. All right, cool. And there's the barn fight done quickly. Yeah, so we, you know, he goes down in 4 enhanced rounds and 2 shotgun shells. The old strat there was using all 10 of our using all 10 of our enhanced rounds. But you know, new strat was found semi-recently where, you know, we can save our enhanced ammo. Pretty nice. Now we're actually coming upon my favorite part of this entire game. You know, I've been running Resident Evil 7 since 2018, so 3 years. And this part, you know, it's always still really fun to me. So we're coming upon the Happy Birthday puzzle. It's essentially an escape room, which is quite neat. I thought Capcom did a great job with this puzzle here. Before we do that, we're going to put away a couple items. And you may have noticed we put away, you know, a bunch of items earlier. So you cannot go into this puzzle at all with items. Lucas makes you put them away. So to save a little bit of time, we put away some items earlier, and then we put in our last 2 weapons here right at the end. So the objective is to light this candle and go over there. Water on us. So we gotta do little things here before we can light the candle and stick it on the cake. And Lucas, you know, he's here. He's teasing us. Oh no. But funny thing about this puzzle here is actually, you know, perfect time to mention, throughout various points in this game, there were videotapes. And the videotapes served as essentially as, you know, little pieces of lore. It kind of tells you a little bit about the story. So you can actually skip pretty much every single videotape. Except for one on the wrecked ship a little bit later. So one of the tapes you can watch during your casual playthrough is the Happy Birthday tape. And it essentially shows one of the victims here. His name was Clancy. You essentially just kind of figure out the puzzle here. And unfortunately, he did not make it out. This is actually where he perished because, you know, the cake exploded and there was gasoline everywhere and stuff like that. But we're able to do the solution of this puzzle without dying, because you know, you're supposed to die here, but since we know the appropriate solution, we won't die. Essentially, we don't take the winding key where it pours gasoline everywhere. So the game essentially assumes that Ethan watched this tape, so we actually don't have to watch it. So kind of interesting. And yeah, since we didn't die, Lucas channels the spirit of Wile E. Coyote and just drops some dynamite right in there. Drops a stick of dynamite. And we don't have to, we actually don't have to stand too far away here. We can literally stand right here. We don't have to How Ethan didn't get knocked back, I have no idea. Everyone always makes the comment of like, Ethan would have totally been knocked back if this was real life. If this was a video game and not real life, he would have totally... I don't know. I don't even know if he would have survived that. Whew. Alrighty. So Greenleaf, you actually mentioned earlier that your familiarity with the Resident Evil series is tabletop stuff. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we run a superheroes game, and one of my buddies took a lot of the inspiration for what he was doing was from Resident Evil, and the one name I know from all that is Wesker.
Very iconic character. Good choice. Yeah, when you first mentioned tabletop, it actually reminded me there's actually a Resident Evil 2 board game. I haven't played it, but it came out a few years ago when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out. So I was about to ask you, I was like, did you play that game? When you talked about tabletop.
I did not know there was a board game. I haven't played it, although sounds interesting.
Yeah, I actually don't know what it's about. All I know is that it exists. Maybe some folks in the chat have played it. Alrighty. As you can tell, we have a lot of shotgun shells. That's because we're about to come upon our third boss fight. Before we do so, here's Zoe! This is the lady we want to save, right? Or is it Mia? We don't have the choice just yet, but we actually do have the choice coming up. So, I will let you know. I'll let you know when that choice is coming up, when we're close to it. After this boss fight, we'll have that choice coming up. So if you want to see Mia get saved or Zoe get saved, get those last minute donations in right now. Have a little bit more time for that. Alrighty.
If you need some inspiration, it's Zoe leaving right now, chat.
Oh shoot. Like I said, that's not normal in the speedrun, so if you want to see it, get those donations in. Remember Jack? This is what he mutated to. He has tons of eyeballs and also tons of iframes. Alright.
I approve.
Wait a second. Yeah, that tail eyeball there is actually a very specific shot we have to do there. And shooting right away here. And let's see. 1, 2, 3. Alright, cool. Yeah, we use the enhanced for there if you want to. And then cool. This particular we have to wait till that animation. Alright, cool. And as you can tell, a lot of these will die in 2 hits, but some of these like bottom ones will die in 1 hit, which is actually really cool. So that is all Ethan wrote for Jack 3. GG. Actually, wait, not yet. We have 2 more shots to do. Just kidding. But for the 1 cycle, that was it. Alrighty. There we go. Now that's all Ethan wrote. Okay, I'll take a free heal. Another RNG box. I'll take it. Okay. Wait just a second. You thought Jack was done, but he's not. We're gonna use one of the 2 serums to cure him. It's crazy 1 serum can do all of this to a giant monster. Alright. Goodbye, Jack. Nice knowing you.
Saving Zoe.
Ooh, you guys went the longer route, yay! RIP PB. I'm actually not on PB pace, so it's okay, folks. Alrighty, yeah, so you get the prompt to cure Mia or cure Zoe, but there we go.